Opening with the king's pawn controls the center and opens up the light-squared bishop and queen, often leading to sharp games. The Sicilian defense controls the d4 square with c-pawn. Nf3 develops the knight toward the center to prepare for a d4 pawn push, where the knight will recapture if black captures on d4. Nc6 helps control both the d4 square and the e5 square. d4 offers to trade a center pawn for the c5 pawn in exchange for more control of the center and quick development. Cx d4 gives black 2 central pawns versus 1 central pawn for white. Nx d4 recaptures the pawn and activates the knight in return for having 1 central pawn versus black's 2 central pawns. g6 prepares to fianchetto the dark squared bishop on g7, where it will sit on the long diagonal. Nc3 develops the knight, defends the e4 pawn and controls the d5 square. Bg7 puts the bishop on the long diagonal in a move called a fianchetto. b3 develops the bishop and defends the knight on d4. Nf6 develops the knight toward the center, attacks the e4 pawn and prepares castling. bc4 develops the bishop to an aggressive diagonal where it controls the d5 square and attacks the f7 pawn. Castling gets the king out of the center and activates the rook. bb3 retreats the bishop, avoiding the tactical trick of 8.nxe4 9.nxe4 d5. d6 controls the e5 and c5 squares and allows the light-squared bishop to develop. f3 supports the e4 pawn and takes control of the g4 square, stopping any ng4 ideas. bd7 develops the bishop toward the center, supports the knight on c6 and opens up the c8 square. qd2 develops the queen toward the center, supports the bishop on e3 and allows queenside castling. This activates a rook by developing it off of its starting square. This connects the rooks, which helps them coordinate together in the future. This is the only good move. This threatens to win a pawn. Balanced, neither player ever had an advantage. That game was pretty competitive. Both players had an amazing opening.